Hi, second grade. Mrs. Parsons back again. I hope you had a great weekend and a great last week. I saw some great art coming from you guys. Keep sending them. I love seeing what you've been working on. This week we're going to be talking about color. And we are going to be talking about certain groups of colors. When you look at a color wheel, there's tons of different colors on here. Tons of different groups of colors. There's primary colors, secondary colors, tertiary colors, lots of different groups. We're just going to be talking about warm colors and cool colors, which I'll talk a little bit more about in a minute. But we are going to be taking those colors and making a landscape. Now, a landscape is a type of art or a form of art where you're looking at the land, thus landscape. So think about if you've ever been to a beach and you stood on the beach and you've seen the sand and the ocean and the sky all in one frame, all in one shot, that would be a landscape. Or if you've seen paintings or photos or drawings of a farm with a barn and maybe there's some animals in the pasture, some corn growing in the field somewhere, that's also a landscape. So a landscape is a form of art that focuses on the land, maybe with a couple of buildings or animals, but mostly the primary subject of it is the land. So we're going to be making a landscape this week, and I think you're really going to like it. So stick with me and I'll show you how we're going to do that. So I have two examples here of landscapes just to help you out a little bit with the idea of a landscape. This one is by Claude Monet and it's called Water Lilies, and it's a little bridge over a pond of water lilies. So you can see the bridge, you can see the trees in the background, the little pond or lake with all of the water lilies and flowers and things in it. Here I have another one of, there's a woman with a cow in the field and you can see the houses or a little town pretty far behind her there. And then beyond that is more mountains and hills with trees and things. And then the sky. There's some trees, but it focuses, both of these focus on the land and not so much any people or animals or things like that. So that's a landscape. What we're going to be working on is a landscape like this. Now we're going to be using just two groups of colors, and you can see I don't have any people in here. I don't have any animals. I'm focusing on the sky and the land. So we're using cool colors, which are colors that are calm and soothing. I have the cool colors in the water here and a little bit in the island or trees or whatever that's beyond the island. And then we're also going to use warm colors. Warm colors are colors that are a little more vivid, a little more bold colors. Think about bright colors. So I have my warm colors up here in the sky. I have it here in my island a little bit. So warm colors and cool colors are what we're going to be doing. What you're going to need is a piece of white paper again. And since we're doing a landscape, we want to hold our paper horizontal like a banana split, not vertical like an ice cream cone, horizontal like a banana split. And the first thing that you want to do is draw your horizon line. Now, a horizon line is an imaginary line that is the line between where the sky ends and the land starts. When you look outside, you probably can see that line where the land or grass or trees seem to stop and the sky just starts. So it's that imaginary line. There's not really a line there, but it looks like there could be a line. So you want to draw that imaginary line. Now, you don't have to do exactly the same landscape I'm doing. If you want to switch it up a little bit, go for it. I'm drawing an island because I think we're all dreaming about being on the beach somewhere, but it's really up to you what kind of landscape you want to draw. So now I have an idea of how I'm dividing my paper up. I'm going to actually start, I want to draw the island or line of trees and mountains behind my island. So I'm going to just kind of start over here and draw kind of a, not a wavy line, but a jagged line to show the top of those mountains. And because I want to add a bunch of colors in here, I'm going to draw another line. Now you can see I'm kind of overlapping that horizon line a little bit, and that's fine. It doesn't have to be exactly on the horizon line. And actually, I'm going to erase that a little bit so it's not quite so obvious because I'm going to be coloring over it. Now, I actually am going to make one more line for those mountains in the distance there. Now I'm ready for my island. My island, I'm just going to make, this kind of reminds me of a mitten shape. The little thumb there. And because I want to put a couple colors in here, I'm actually going to do lines like that. And I have my water here. And I'm just kind of making lines that fill the shape of the water and make it look like the water's moving so that it doesn't quite look so still. Plus these lines help the water look like it's moving, but it also will help me add more of those warm colors and cool colors and make it feel a little more three-dimensional and not quite so flat. So there's my water. Then I have my sky up here. And because we all want to be on the beach in the sun and the nice warm, I'm going to start with a circle for the sun. And when you look at the sun, not that you should look directly at the sun, but you see all of the light that radiates off of the sun. So I want to make some circles around the sun to show that light radiating off the sun. And that light's going to come all the way over here. It's coming across the whole island, all of the trees and mountains. Kind of something like that. Once I have my little lines drawn as to the different parts of my landscape, then I'm ready to color. Now I would recommend using crayons for this unless you have a marker set that has lots of different colors of markers, because you're going to want to use a bunch of different types of blues, a bunch of different types of greens and oranges and yellows. So if you don't have a marker set that has a whole lot of options in it, I'd use crayons because you probably have more options with your crayons. If you do want to mix crayons and markers, you can. I think it just gives a better feel with using one or the other, but it's really up to you and what you have at home. So I'm going to start at the top and work my way down just like we do with most things. And of course, I need my sun to be yellow. So I'm going to start with that and just make sure that you take your time, you fill inside the lines. And what I like to do is try and use colors that are very similar to each other. So for my warm colors, these would be all my warm colors right here. I want to make sure that I have kind of a little bit darker than yellow going around here and then a little bit darker than that, and make it so that I'm not making big jumps between colors, but just a little bit of a jump, and that'll also help make it look more dimensional or look like it's not quite so flat, even though we're coloring on a flat sheet of paper. So I'm just taking colors and filling in those sections that I drew. And like I said, yours doesn't have to look like mine. Maybe you want to draw more of a landscape that has more trees in it. Maybe you want your landscape to be all water and just no island. Maybe you want to draw a totally different type of area, not the beach. Maybe a lake, maybe a field, maybe think about different places that you've been and different landscapes that you've seen. It's going to make it a lot easier to draw if you think about places that you've actually been to and places you've actually seen. So I'm just going to color this in. Trying to make sure I stay on the paper. So I have my sky filled in. I'm gonna take, since I'm drawing mountains and trees, I'm gonna take some greens to color those in. Just staying inside the lines. Now I'm going kind of quick because I don't want to take all of your time up today. You're probably going to take a little bit longer to color these spaces in, making sure that you fill each one in completely. You're staying inside the lines and doing your very best job. And the darker green for that last section here. Now I have my island here, and I'm actually going to use some of the warm colors there too. Since I haven't really used these, I'm going to try and use some colors that I haven't used yet to fill those little spots on the island in. Still using some warm colors though, because the rest of this is going to be cool colors with the water. So now my island's done, and all that's left is for me to color the water in, where I'm going to use some blues and purples. Maybe since purples are darker, it might be a good idea to go in like the middle of the water with the purple, so it looks like really deep, but it's up to you. Cool colors and warm colors are all that we're using, so there really should not be any blacks, browns, or grays. We want all these cool colors that are going to make it really colorful, really bright and vibrant, but still look like a landscape. So that when you're all done, you have something that looks like this. I hope you have a lot of fun making your landscape this week. It can be a lot of fun with all these different colors that we're using, and the fact that it looks like a landscape, but it doesn't quite look like a landscape. Not at least one that we'd see looking out our window any day. So remember, you want to use lots of colors, warm colors and cool colors, no blacks, browns, or grays. Try and think of a place that you've been to, a place that you've actually seen, even if it's something on TV that you look at a lot. It's going to be a lot easier to draw your landscape if it's a place that you've actually seen. If not, go online, Google landscapes, and see what places you come up with. I'm sure you're going to find a lot of really neat landscapes that way too. If mom and dad have the chance at some point to email me a picture of your landscape, I would love to see it. I love getting to see all of your artwork, and I love it even more when you hold your artwork up that I get to see your face too. I miss you all, and I'll see you next week.